On this episode, we talk about luck, how to make your own luck, and why I don't think luck is really a thing. I personally answer the question what you would do if you were not afraid. I got the inspiration for this podcast from a guy named Tony Jeffries. He owns two gyms out in LA, in Santa Monica and Brentwood area, called Box and Burn. He also has a podcast called The Box and Life. Tony and I have been going back and forth for quite a while now, and I hope to have him on the podcast soon. But until then, go check out his podcast, The Box and Life. He has a really great personal story and how he became, where he came from to being an Olympic boxer medalist for England and now a business gym owner in LA. So please go to iTunes, give us a 5-star, take another 20 seconds, give us a review. All of that helps. Without further ado, here is the 600-second version of The Hybrid Life. Let's go! What's up, everybody? This is The Hybrid Life, the 600-second podcast version. We're back. Just finished the weekend. Mother's Day was this past weekend. It was really quite good in our neck of the woods. Got to relax a little bit. Had a busy last week. I touched upon on my social medias some of the things I had going on. I was a little vague about it, but that, quite honestly, is on purpose and necessary at the same time. It's cool to be connected in training and connected with people of influence, or if you want to call them celebrities or what have you, but it's not necessary for I think for it to be, thrown out there like a showpiece or a, look at me type of thing. It's nice to be recognized, asked to do things, try to, spread what you're doing out and people recognize it, ask you if you're interested in helping. How you doing? But also not necessary to use that as ways to sell what you're doing as well. I would rather people want to, use me as a coach because I'm great at what I do, not because of who I train or things that I've done. So, one of the things I love about what I do is that I get to network, become friends with, have association with a lot of cool people I admire, people that I look up to, people I try to emulate, people that, entertain me, but they're also good people. If you're really good at your job or your profession, but you're an asshole, I don't really care about being associated with you. If you're not super successful in the eyes of the public, but you work hard and you do good stuff and you're cool and you're a good person, well then yes, I want to be associated with you. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I was fortunate enough to have my boy Cristian, who is a senior trainer at the On It Academy in Austin, probably my favorite gym facility in the country. It is everything you want from a health, wellness, and fitness standpoint. He's a senior trainer there. He's an expert in recovery, mobility, and movement. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, he's also a great follow on Instagram. I will put his information in the notes, but he was in town because he is the traveling trainer for the Taylor Swift tour, and had great, hooking up with him, and I got to bring my daughter to the show. We got the sickest seats I've ever had for a stadium concert, and whether you like Taylor Swift's music or not, her message to young women is fantastic. Quite honestly, I've always liked her. Her songs are always catchy. I always get shit for it, but I don't really care. I like all kinds of music, and she writes her own music. She's a really, really good performer, and I have an appreciation for how good of a singer she is now, because her show is crazy physical. I mean, non-stop movement, and she sings the whole time, no lip syncing. Her dancers were phenomenal. The stage was great. So when that show comes to town, if you have the opportunity, I highly suggest checking out that tour. Phoenix was the first date on the entire tour. I think she's had 2 since then in California. So, it's going to be in your neck of the woods at some point this summer. So I highly recommend it. But again, shout out to my boy Cristian over at On It for quite a few things. But more importantly, just being able to catch up and hang out with him was great. Talk about some future endeavors. A lot of big things happening for him, and hopefully we can link up and do some more cool things together. So one of the things that I do, obviously, is listening to podcasts, and one that I just learned about was the Boxing Life podcast with Tony Jeffries. He is an Olympic medal boxer from England. He owns a gym, 2 gym locations in Santa Monica and Brentwood called Box and Burn. Super popular, rated the #1 gym in LA. So if you're out in that area, go check it out. But he has a podcast, and he had something on his podcast the other day that I listened to about making your own luck, and that there's really no such thing as luck, which I have always thought. I mean, people see when I talk to people of influence or in our industry, how did you do that? You're so lucky. That is not true. What I do, there's no luck involved. I try to make things happen, and the amount of no's that I get compared to the one yes, the no's dwarf the yes. So if I see somebody that I respect, admire, is going to be anywhere near me, I reach out. Now, 9 times out of 10, they never see the message or don't respond. But the one time that somebody does, it's always a good experience. And we end up making a connection, and I get to meet up with them, pick their brain, have conversation, and then hopefully start some sort of a friendship or relationship, either on a personal or business level, that we can both, use to make things better for everything in our lives. So, if you go back and listen to his podcast, he has a really short 10-minute version, like one that I have, that's called "Making Your Own Luck," and I can't relate to that any more than I can't express how much I relate to that. So, I don't think anybody is lucky. I think people take advantage of opportunities, and some people don't. And when things are put in your face, it's either you act or you don't act. And referencing a quote, I think Michael Jordan, it's a famous quote that says, "You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take." So why not risk putting some risk in some of your decision making when something's coming up, or if you see something that's presented, and that goes for anything in life. if you're a single guy and you see a girl that you think is attractive in the grocery store, if you don't go up to her and say hello, there's never a chance that you'd ever get a chance to talk to her. So, the worst she can say is no, which is where you're at if you don't say something to her. Same thing in business. If you don't take an opportunity to pursue something that you love to do, all you're going to do is be mad down the road when you never took that opportunity. So, at the end of one of his podcasts, he asked the question, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And for me, it's a simple answer. I would do what I'm doing now, because I don't ever let fear affect my decision making or what I do. If you're afraid of things, if you're afraid of rejection, if you're afraid of no, if you're afraid that something's not going to work out, you're only going to be in the same exact spot that you're already in before taking that shot. So, I think maybe life has taught me that because of all the failures that I've had. But if you find somebody successful, I am willing to bet that they have a million failures behind that success. And I don't think somebody can be really, truly successful unless they have a bunch of failures. Kevin Hart says something about people calling him an overnight success. Well, he said it was a 20-year overnight success for him. So, and that goes for a lot of people. Just because you're just hearing about something doesn't mean it didn't take them, 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get there. I just read an article literally yesterday about a baseball player who was drafted, never made it to the big leagues, played 9 or 10 seasons in independent baseball, which, if anyone knows anything about it, you make little to nothing. It's barely enough money to live on. Went to Japan, played professionally, came back to the States, played independent baseball again, and now at 36 years old, this week is going to get his first chance to start in a Major League Baseball game. I mean, that story alone, I would love to be able to talk to that guy, because it's just a great story of perseverance, never giving up. I'm sure there's been so many people have told him, it's time to call it quits. And I've been in that situation. Sometimes you do have to realize it's time to move on, and there's other things to do in your life besides what you're doing. But if you have a passion for what you're doing and you have a belief in yourself, I don't think anyone should ever detour you from quitting or stop doing what you really, really want to do. I think I've went past my 10 minutes today, but that's okay. We're going to do a longer version of a podcast. I'm going to retackle intermittent fasting because, I have been getting so many questions about how to do it, why they do it, people telling me how they're doing it, they're really not doing it correctly. So I'm going to take a deep dive into intermittent fasting, tell you the ways to do it, ways to come out of a fast every single day, how, some people may be doing it wrong, and I'll tackle some questions from the listeners and members. And again, thanks for listening. This is Kevin Bay. Sorry, I had to cut that off a little short. The audio was getting really busted from being outside, so I apologize for that. But thank you for listening. You can check us out on all social medias, Instagram, Facebook, at Hybrid Fit Club, or myself personally, Kevin Bay, HFC. If you have any questions regarding intermittent fasting for the next episode, or if you're interested in our online or in-person programming, send us an email to info@hybridfitclub.com. Thank you for everything. Make sure you check out Christian and Tony's information. Really great resources online. If you have questions regarding intermittent fasting, send them to us. We'll get to them on the next podcast. Guys, have a great day. Have a great week. You know our motto, we don't use machines, we make machines. See ya!
So call it what you want, yeah, call it what you want to. All my flowers grew back as thorns. Windows boarded up after the storm. He built a fire just to keep me